Okay, so today I want to give you guys a special part. Apologize on the slides. I got them to print out for you already. They will give you guys the slides later because I just actually finished some parts of it because a lot of things are not clarified yet. So I thought today, before we go through our proper class, we want to give you guys an overview of the Singapore budget and how it affects majority of you. Since after all, I teach accountancy in my nature. So I think it should be quite relevant for you. And of course, when it comes to relevancy to the Vietnam class, I will also point out the areas that it might be relevant for you as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so just need to give introduction again because we are webcasting this. My name is Ivan. I'm an adjunct faculty with Singapore Management University. I look after the Vietnam program, as you guys know, especially for those of you who didn't miss our first week class. My first company was a startup, second one also a startup, and today I work for a big MNC to talk about how we can work better with the closer relationship of startups. So, as always, since today is a budget sharing, I need to give a disclosure statement. Information shared today should not be used as a tax advisory. I am not here to give you tax, financial, or accounting advisory. Our other classmate like Bob can give you a better advisory there, but must pay him for sure. So please not use this information in any way that might take it as it is basis. Information are correct, but of course, because this is a budget and committee of supplies are not out yet, a lot of things are uncertain yet. So we will update as it goes along. Okay, so let's get started. There are three things for this year budget that I thought we'll go through with you guys. On a personal note, Minister Heng Swee Keat, our finance minister and deputy prime minister, is a great minister. Just that when he shares his notes, it's not very structured. If you actually hear his budget speech, it went from personal to corporate to personal again, then a middle section of skills future, then back to care and share again. It's actually very confusing to read his statements as a whole. But of course, there's a lot of pointers involved. The number of times I count him say 0.1, 0.2 is like about 100 times. So every single item he mentioned has sub points and sub points. So it is very, very tough. Okay, so I reorganized it to talk about three things. Number one, immediate things that are going to support you guys. I understand that COVID-19 is a very bad influence for a lot of you. Maybe in the training business is a great time for us to be in the training business since a lot of people are on time off. But in terms of the general business sentiment, of course, it's quite bad. The first one will cover area that is most relevant to you to support businesses in the crisis. Number two, of course, his speech this year was 2 hours long. Only 30 minutes was spent, or 25 minutes was spent on COVID. The large part of it was still the same about improving our businesses for the long-term needs. So the second part, back to more grants, more support for you, and good news, I thought MRA would be cancelled. It got enhanced to $100,000, so even better for you guys. Okay, that's number two. And number three, other measures and support that he chose along the way that might be relevant to you as long. Once again, the slides will be printed for you guys later. So let's start with the first thing, which is the immediate measure for COVID-19 itself. Okay, why are we doing this, or why is the Singapore government doing this? GDP growth for 2019, not very high, 0.7%. Less than a percentage point, one of the lowest since our recovery from the 2008 crisis. Now, unfortunately, our 2020 forecast is now dropped to negative 0.5. You take it depends on yourself. As you all know, forecasters are always a range. Before COVID-19 became such a big deal, what we see so far was that DBS was estimating a 1% growth on 3rd January. So of course now with MAS regulation coming out to say 0.5 negative, yeah. So I give you guys to decide whether we will enter a recessionary year. Obviously, I think no one wants to enter a recessionary year, but based on the figures, I think it really depends on whether COVID-19 will last longer than expected. Just to give you a context, Singapore Airlines cancels 700 flights. 20,000 tourists are now missing a day. Hotel occupancy rate across the rate from the Trades Association of Hotels. We're talking about 85% in February 2019. As of today, Hotel Singapore is about 30%. So 20,000 tourists are now missing on a day-to-day basis. So it is a very big measure, and it's something that we all have to brace together. So before I go into what it can help, I thought it's also good to give you guys an understanding of where Singapore money comes from. From a tax accountant, people always say, Tengku take a lot of money, right? But where is the money coming from? The truth be told is number one source of revenue for the Singapore government is not from us. It is from big companies. The largest part of the revenue comes from the corporate income tax. The second largest part is the personal income tax, followed by the GST. I put in the COE because it's quite interesting. $2.6 billion of the tax revenue is funded by Certificate of Entitlement. Now, add in motor tax, which is the one that you pay 100% on the car itself, it becomes $5.8 billion. So $5.8 billion of our Singapore budget of $75 billion, meaning about 6%, is funded by people who drive cars. So for those of you who drive cars today, thank you very much for funding half of a very nice 5% of our Singapore budget. So people always say, like, why GST must increase? Because there's no other way, from a taxation perspective, there are no other ways for this to increase. Stamp duty, asset tax are things for your property development side. There are really no much way you can go up. The property market is already at high, and if you start levying more and more stamp duties, Singaporeans will start grumbling more and more. So honestly, if you look at this pie and you're the Minister of Finance, you have very little where else to grow other than GST itself. Personal income tax, you cannot really grow because it's for Singaporeans. It's a progressive tax system. Our top rate is 20%. Any higher, you will start seeing people like Americans leaving the country itself. So that's out. Corporate income tax rate, Hong Kong is at 16% now. Singapore top rate is 17%. It's also very impossible. The only trend forward for corporate income tax rate is to go down. It's a standard thing around all jurisdictions in the world whereby the flood for corporations is very high. So once again, the only way else to increase is through the goods and service tax, which is a progressive tax. Foreigners come here, buy stuff, they also get taxed GST in service industry. So this is why the GST. But the good news is that GST will not be increased for this year and next year. So you can expect the GST to only increase after election, since the government of Singapore needs to call election by April 2021, 6 years term limit. So others can be so much things. Statutory, okay, this is nothing to do with Temasek making money for us. The others include things like statutory board licensing fee. So the stat board sell you the tourism license, they must charge you fees, right? Rental income from government properties, for example, the HDB building. So those are the others. And of course, there are other taxes like withholding tax, importation, exportation taxes. They're very, very specific. But in general, the others are broken down into many small categories. Okay, so most important thing is special transfers. So for Tauke's, like all of you guys, I think you guys will be you either be excited or a good news. Special transfers are legitimately government taking a check and giving back to you. Okay, so this is a growth chart of where the government growing is. So basically every single circle represents a ministry itself. To see the full data, please go to Straits Times database itself. So basically you can see that majority of the ministry, they're trying to keep it as negative or 0% growth, meaning whatever is their budget last year, they keep this year. But yet the Singapore budget this year has expanded tremendously. So where are all the expansion caused by? The expansion is caused by this top right circle here. Let me use my annotation here. Let me try. The number is driven by this thing here. Okay, sorry. Oops. Okay, it doesn't show on this thing. It's driven by the top right-hand corner. That is called special transfer. Special transfer this year will go up by 44%. What is special transfer? Wage credit scheme whereby they give you back salary support. JSS scheme whereby they give you money back. All these are special transfer scheme. The government will be spending $22 billion back to the taxpayer. Now, it seems very inefficient to take money and then return back to you, right? Why can't I just give you discount, right? Because for most of citizens, getting back a check is feeling better than paying less tax. So if you're cynical, this is really my opinion. If you're cynical, it's because it feels better. If you are not cynical, oh well, the good news is they tax the rich and give the poor. Okay, it depends on how you see it. But a special transfer is the largest increase for this year budget. The rest are really to support special management. So where are we in terms of the budget mechanism? Oops. Okay, here we are. Wait. Annotate. Erase. Okay, here we go. So where are we in terms of this? So the most important measure the government introduced this year is a stabilization and support scheme. Now, within this scheme, there are many components, which I will go through those that are relevant to the SME business owner. So if you were to look at the government revenue, this year, just now I showed you the circle pie, the government revenue this year is $76 billion. What is the $18 billion coming from? That is the GIC and Temasek gain. So we take a portion of the net investment gain from Temasek Holdings and GIC to form our collective budget. Now, this is why last year the big debate was whether we should continue taking more gains from Temasek or letting Temasek invest in. So people always think that Singapore government is rich. Yes, we are very, very rich or very, very lucky. We don't run deficit, but in terms of the budget, actually it runs deficit across the years. All right, especially this year, it's a deficit budget. So what happens is that every single term of government, let's say it's a 6-year term of government, the government cannot run a deficit, meaning you cannot draw from the national reserve. So let's say you run deficit for 3 years, the next 3 years you must run a surplus to collect the money and save it for a rainy day. And this is why we have a massive national reserve to invest through GIC and Temasek Holdings. So once again, this year, the deficit will be about $11 billion. $83 billion plus a $21 billion special transfer. This is the deficit that the Singapore government will be expecting. Okay, sorry, $11 billion. Why is it 7.6 based on their forecast? Because they're spending so much money. By the way, this is really unprecedented. This is one of the largest surplus that the Singapore government has run. Because there's so much money, you guys will receive the money through special transfer and you guys hopefully will spend. And when you spend, it creates more tax revenue for the government. So although they expect the initial one at 11, they will expect it to end about $7.6 billion deficit. For context, we are quite bad at estimating deficit. Yeah. During SARS, they estimate $7 billion deficit. 7 billion. In total, how much do you expect them to? What's the true deficit after that? 300 million. So we are very, you can say that we are very, as all Singaporeans should know, we are very prudent first. So we, tell you the bad news, but hopefully this will end a bit better. Okay. Now let's talk about the package size though. This package, right, for the COVID, or what I call the stabilization and support package, is $4 billion for businesses. For household, it's $1.6 billion. Okay, but 4 billion is to support businesses. Is it big? It is massive. It's 7% of the Singapore budget. Okay, for context, SARS was only $230 million as a support mechanism package. Really. This is a $4 billion package to support businesses. Many reasons why. SARS unfortunately only happened after the budget, so it's very hard to readjust budget. Whether you call it lucky or not lucky, COVID happened before the budget, so the government has time to adjust back. Another way of looking at it is that if there was no COVID-19, we probably wouldn't have run a deficit year, all right, or run a smaller deficit year, because clearly $5 billion was used to fund this. Okay, so goodness, this is so weird. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, I need to use the mouse. Okay. So let's go through the stabilization and support scheme. And I'm going to go through work examples. Now, most importantly for you guys, that is the top line news for everybody, is job support scheme. The goal for you employers is not to lay off your Singapore employees. You cannot do anything related to this. Yeah, this is already a done deal. This basically, you will get 8% cash in terms of salary support for 3 months. This is a done deal. You cannot pay your workers more now to get more money now. This is a past event. It's very smart, yeah. I'll give you an example in the next slide. So what it means, up to $3,600. So if your basic salary is more than $3,600, you still get $288 per month, all right, per worker for 3 months. The assessment month is October, November, December 2019. Okay, you do not need to do anything. You will receive a check or gyro via IRAS on 31st July. Now, majority of this scheme, support and stabilization package, you will realize actually all of them are administered by IRAS, because IRAS directly reports to Ministry of Finance. So this is one of the killer's mechanism to support very fast without going through agency. So here's a work example from IRAS. Let's look at it, this one here. So for example, you have one employee and you pay this employee $3,000, $3,500 and $4,000 over the last 3 months, October, November, December. You will get 8% of the qualifying wage up to $3,600. So in this work example, you will get back $808 a check back. Okay, this applies to all local employees. Now, other schemes like wage credit scheme I'll go through doesn't apply to business owners who are directors of the firm. Okay, but my understanding is that based on the information, this will also apply to directors of the firm. So even if you are your own director or sole proprietor of your firm, you will get this support as well. the maximum per worker, as always, will be 864. So, if you already know yourself that you're paying more than 3,600, a very good way to think of it is in July, your company will get a little bonus of $864. It's not a lot. People are expecting a lot more, but I think it's a great measure considering that they actually do it for all Singaporeans. Okay? Yes, question. No, basic salary. They use basic salary as a computation. So, when you guys, for those of you who are in HR, how do they calculate basic, right? You put in your CPF calculation. So this is really where it gets murky. Some employer lump allowance under basic, right? So obviously the base will be higher. But if you use a good HR software and you submit into via FTP to the CPF system, they will separate between basic, bonus, allowance. They will use the first line, which is called basic, to calculate this area itself. Okay? So this is a great scheme for you guys, most important scheme for you. Now, the next one, I always thought that you guys should definitely look at is a working capital loan enhancement. So this is the same measure they did during SARS time, whereby they increase or at least support businesses to get working capital loans. So I already told you last time in the last week class that working capital loan is capped at $300,000. The government of Singapore will increase it to $600,000. Now, can you get the full $600,000? The answer is unlikely yes. Okay. This is no matter how the banks assess risk on a whole different matrix from majority of us. But two things: if you are already on a working capital loan, you should and you need money, I strongly recommend, or even you don't need money, right? I strongly now recommend you to call your bankers and ask for recredit financing right now. They don't have to give you the loan, but at least you increase your quantum to draw down. So for example, a trading business that has a $200,000 cash credit line for working capital. Working capital loans are credit line basis. So for example, you take, let's say OCBC give you a $200,000 drawdown facilities. You can take in tranches of $10,000. So you don't have to take the full $200,000 at go. Because the government is now increasing the subsidy rate to 50 to 80%, and also the quantum itself, if you have a working capital loan, call your bankers and ask for reassessment right now. Even if you don't use the facility, at least in the worst case scenario, assuming COVID hits until December, you have the facility to draw down cash from in an emergency. Strongly recommend. If you don't have such facilities, I strongly recommend you to apply just to get a sensing. Application fees are waived, so there's no fees involved. You just need to submit your P&L and an application form to get assessment of this basis. Will the bank make it better interest rate? I have no idea. Technically speaking, the government now take 80% of the risk, That means that 1 in 24 companies, That means that now the banks in the past used to say 1 in 7, they can only tahan 1 in 7 default. Now they can tahan 1 in 3 defaults, and they don't lose a single cent. So I really, really, really hope the 3 local banks reduce your effective interest rate. But the short answer is probably no. They probably will not do that. So they probably give you more money, but probably not give you a better interest rate. Okay. So strongly recommend you guys to do that now. Okay. Now for those of you who are newer businesses, this does not apply to you. The same loan is a start loan, the one that has less than 3 years of record. That loan quantum is still capped at $40,000. No change in that. So if you don't have 3 years of trading history, you probably cannot apply for this loan. Okay. But this is very useful. I will talk about the tourism industry loan later. Okay. Now let's talk about corporate tax relief. So most importantly, you are going to get a discount this year in your corporate income tax. So this is after all your submission records. So basically, the government is going to give you a 25% discount on your corporate income tax after all the exemptions and after all the different all the other allowable expenses. Now, corporate income tax relief is not new. It's traditionally speaking a very used measure by the Singapore government. So in the past few years, remember in 2016, they give up to 50% corporate income tax relief. This was during the PIC days where they really wanted everybody to buy productivity solution. So is this reasonable? I think so. 25% cap at $15,000 is pretty generous. Majority of you will not need $15,000. For context, to get $15,000 relief, your revenue is probably 10 million and above. Okay, so although it sounds good in paper, but in practice, majority of you will not receive so much money back or pay so much lesser tax itself. Okay, now common misconception is how to apply for this. Once again, all corporate income tax relief doesn't need to be applied. Okay, the horrible thing about our system is that from accountant perspective is when you fill out your form C, right, they have a section called tax payable, and people get kanchong because, oh no, I thought you give me relief. The relief is calculated after you submit the form automatically by IRAS. So you don't have to do anything. Okay, so a lot of times, employees, and I've seen so many Form Cs whereby they went to reduce their 25% themselves. Then it screws up the whole system, and then IRAS will then do an audit on you. Okay, so I stress again, you don't need to do anything. Just leave it as it is. They will give you 25% discount. Now, how does it square with the startup exemption scheme? As you know, if you incorporate in Singapore for a new startup, you don't have to pay tax for 3 years. This obviously underseats it. You will obviously, from a taxation perspective, if you're a new company, you will take the startup scheme first. Unfortunately, there are no other tax measure I can help you because you cannot push forward this in the future. So if your startup exemption scheme, obviously 100% discount is still better than 25% discount. Okay, so for new startup, no change to you. You still don't have to pay tax for the first 3 years up to a ceiling cap. So far, so good. Okay, now wage credit scheme. This is more also, so honestly speaking, I think we do a very bad job. The government does a very bad job of communicating some of this stuff. So a lot of employers tell me, hey, I received a random check, SEC and WEC check or WCS check on June. What does it mean? This is what it means. Okay, the goal is to help you co-fund salary increment. Now, I want to say this, you cannot do this for yourself. Okay, the government is very smart. You obviously, you know, right? When your salary $1,000, you create a $1,000 base and you're going to increase your salary to $5,000. Hey, not bad, right? The $4,000 increase, 20% subsidized by the Singapore government. It doesn't apply to sole proprietor, partnership owners, and business owners. If you are a shareholder and director of the firm, this will not apply to you. Okay? If you're the sole proprietor, it will not apply to you. Your employees under your sole proprietor, it will apply to you. But it doesn't apply to the taukees themselves because there's many possible loopholes as you can imagine. I gotta say the Singapore government can think of all the loopholes you can think, they can also think of it. So there are very little provision in the tax code that gives you avenue to think about access point itself. So let's talk about what does wage credit scheme involve. Basically, if your base is very low and you go up to $5,000, the government wants to help pay for the salary increase. Essentially, that's it. How's the calculation calculated this way? 20% times the increase in the basic salary, not the CPF, not the contribution, yeah, just the basic salary, not allowance. So think of it this way. Assuming an employee starts in 2018 at $1,000 for every month, 1,000. Now in 2020, you increase the salary to $2,000. The government will pay 15% of $2,000 for whatever month he's employed in 2020. Okay, whatever month he's employed in 2020. How to qualify? It's auto qualification. But a lot of people always argue with IRAS about why they don't receive the check. So this is how they clarify qualification. To qualify for 2020, this employer must already be your employee for 3 months in 2019. Okay, if you know what I mean, if you have seasonal work, temporary workers, I strongly recommend you just K them for 3 months. Can you backdate? No, you can't backdate. It's already February. Unless you're willing to pay massive CPF interest, you cannot backdate. So it's too bad. If you don't have employees last year, this doesn't apply to you anymore. Okay, so if you have employee for 3 months in 2019 and you increase that guy to $5,000 for any month, so even if it's 3 months in 2020, for that 3 months, the government will pay 15% of the wage increase. Your first check you will receive this year is on 31st March this year, 31st March. Who is this for? This is for 2018 to 2020. So you want to check how much you're going to receive? Very simple. Look at all the employees you have in 2018 that are below 5,000. Look at all the employees you have in 2019 that you give the increase, and that will be the amount you receive back in a wage credit scheme support from the government of Singapore on 31st March 2020. Okay, you'll be 20%. This year will be 15%. So think of it this year. If you don't qualify last year, it doesn't matter. Think of giving your employees a pay rise. Anyway, you only need to pay 80% of the upfront. Okay. If you're cynical, you realize that 20% is just nice the CPF rate. So do you pay for everything? Yes, you pay for everything. So yes. Okay, so here's a work example. Okay, so the wage credit scheme, by the way, has been going on for many years. Now, the government never announced that it will continue on, but so the issue is how. Oh, on top of that, sorry, I don't need to mention also, the wage credit scheme is only for 1 year. So let's say you increase a guy from $1,000 to $2,000 in this year, right? The government don't continue paying the additional increase the next year, yeah, unless you increase him from $2,000 to another $3,000, then the government will pay the difference. Okay, so it's not like whoa, you got potential. The maximum you can receive per employee is 12 months. Okay, by calendar months, very easy to calculate. Okay, so government co-funding scheme here, and then the difference in the amount itself. Okay, it's pretty a good deal. Once again, payout date is on 31st March. They're very punctual. So far, so good? Okay, now I want to talk to you guys about taxation differences that are going to affect you guys this year. There are a few key enhancements that might be relevant for you. They are not direct cash transfer, but I thought I'll point it out as well. DTDI, you guys should remember, is the one to cover your costs. Let me quickly go through. Basically, up to $150,000 a year, you can claim double taxation relief or benefits itself. $1 spent on, say, going to Japan for a conference, you will get back $2 as a cover in your taxation form. It's commonly forgotten. It's a very, very good way to reduce your chargeable income or tax payable itself. The good news is this: there are two key enhancements this year. Enhancement number one is that it's extended to 31st December 2025. Okay, it used to be ended in 2023. The government has extended it by 2 years. So that means that you have 5 more years to take advantage of double internationalization support. Number two, there's expanded scope. In the past, consultancy services used to be a gray area. These are now all under pre-approved. That means you don't have to write to IRAS to ask for approval. The 4 new areas are consultancy service to help set up. So I told you about MRA, right? Now they include things like FDA consultancy or things like getting medication requirement clarity. Number two, hiring people. So think about Wonder Group, yeah? You can hire people now. The HR fees for us that we charge you to hire, you get, instead of paying us $500, you get $1,000 in tax cover. Pretty good deal to hire people. Number three, speaking slots. So you want to pay to go and speak at international conference, will also receive double taxation benefit. And number four, you will also get transportation of materials for samples. This will take effect on 1st April 2020. People say, why not faster? You know why? No one's going to travel anyway, so it doesn't matter. So consideration for you here is that I know it's really bad, but if you are going to spend in any of this area that's newer, perhaps ask the invoices or ask them to only charge you after 1st April 2020. Okay? Yes, question. Sorry, hold on now. Yes. Yes. Yes, but there's no double claiming. So let's say this Vietnam class costs you $10,000. After subsidies, you pay $1,000, right? Only $1,000 can be used and become $2,000 as a cover. You cannot use $10,000 as used as cover. No double dipping on the government regulations. Yes. Correct. Air tickets, of course, can be bundled together. From a taxation accountant perspective, to make sure DTDI is very neat, I recommend setting up an Excel sheet of all the things that you plan to double claim. You know what I mean? If you are, or if your accounting system allows double tagging, because or not, it'll be very complicated for you guys to claim. Or later IRAS asks you to pull out accounts, you just become a big mess altogether. Okay? Strongly recommend. No, it doesn't happen this way. Okay, so Bob, Form C, right? This one.
No, they allow you to trade under Form CS as well.
CS also, is it? There's a special section, right?
Yeah, that's right. But then because they have like further deductions, you can go under further deduction.
Okay, to clarify, for example, hypothetically, you spend $1,000 on airfare. So your accounting system doesn't become $2,000. It looks the same. $1,000, and then you have chargeable income. You fill up the Form C, Section A, which is the income that you're going to report the same. Now, in the last page of the Form C or CS, I'll show up later, there's a section called additional deduction. Inside one of the column is then DTDI. You write the double, meaning let's say you spend $1,000, you write $1,000 there. So the system will then compute it as $2,000. Your expense, you don't double your expense yourself. That's why I say it's better to maintain an Excel sheet itself. Okay. Yes. For DTDI, yes, it's available on the RAS website for DTDI. They'll tell you exactly there is basically a simple, oh yeah, Bob, yes.
Yeah, for Form C, you do the claim under your normal, under your trade, right? Benefit all your other income, so you have to really calculate all the double deductions there. But for Form C, it's different. Form C because it goes from your net profit. So like you say, you don't do any double claim there, and then you do a further deduction. So but in Form C, you do have a separate declaration. Form CS, you don't have a separate declaration.
I'll take questions on this section. I have two other questions from your colleagues online, but I'll take a question in a short while. Okay, yeah, so deduction there. There is guidelines. It's a little rule of thumb lah. Basically, as I said before in this section in the week 3 class, you can claim first, and if IRS is unhappy, they'll just do a clawback. But the general rule of thumb, as you asked me before on business class flight, generally speaking, they didn't specify. So for now, I'll say it's okay. Yeah. Slots. Sorry, let me jump. Yeah. Okay. Okay. By the way, literally this 4 lines I copy word for word. Minister of Finance literally say, and I'm going to enhance DTDI. IRAS produced this without any additional information. My take is this. Once again, all of these details will be hashed out at the committees of supply, where each minister must deliver the exact plans for all of this stuff, right? Okay. What you mean a trade show is that you can get paid. Sometimes you pay to be a keynote speaker, like sponsorship package. This is what they're meaning. Yeah. As double, yes. So the investments, for example, you will be investment summit, right? Maybe. Yes. Air ticket, accommodation, the service fee to the event organizer to let you be the keynote speaker. Yeah. All acceptable. This is new. I first time see the speaking slot thing, but it shows a very progressive government to understand the new market space. Yeah, pretty cool. No. Yeah, because the accountant will tell you this is so much work, like to actually sit down and then, okay, first thing first, the auditor should not be the one advising you this lah. This is the accountant perspective. The auditor job is to, unless you're the same thing, the auditor job is to make sure your accounts reflect a true and fair view of the company and whether you are, a qualified or unqualified account. Your tax accountant, your accountant should advise you this. Can you claim for past? Yes, technically you can, but you must file a revision form C.
Some clarification. When you get a tax accountant, you got to have different service engagement. So you don't have tax compliance, so you just do tax compliance work. You don't tax consultancy, tax, advisory.
There are days where I wish I was back in the private bank. Man. I could doing all of this. Can you imagine this is a free class by me? I think if I was back at the private bank, I can charge for this, man. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, but it's troublesome. But anyway, you still have this year, because you have not filed for this year yet. You guys know that your filing date is November, right? So your ECI is due in 31st March for companies ending on 31st December. ECI. Yeah. Okay.
But do it earlier so you can get the installment plan.
Yeah, yes. Interest free now. Okay, I want to go through a few more things. That are taxation in nature. Okay, assets. Now, traditionally speaking, you buy let's say you buy your restaurant and you buy a deep fryer. That's $10,000. Now, the deep fryer can probably last 4 or 5 years, right? So the income tax will only let you recognize it over 3 years. That's under Section 19A or Section 19 of the Taxation Code. Now, for this year alone, if you are willing to invest, the government of Singapore will let you depreciate the asset in a taxation at 75% for year 1 and 25% next year. That means that straight away, if you have a big expense, it's a good time to, if you have a big asset purchase and you want to quickly recognize the tax benefit of that, this is a good year to buy assets. Okay? Does it mean cash saving for you? No, it doesn't, because you didn't pay money for the asset, right? But it just is a better position for you from a taxation perspective. Now, this advice cannot be taken just like this. It needs to be a holistic advice because you need to plan out everything. You need to see whether is it better to buy asset this year or to receive the 25% corporate income tax rebate. There are a lot of factors of consideration. But once again, if you are thinking of buying assets, good year to buy assets. Okay? Yes. Sorry, I just want to talk about things. So financial, Government of Singapore income runs on a different schedule. Yeah, their financial year end runs on 31st March. This is why budget must be passed before 31st March. Yeah. Okay. The budget this year they're talking about is for 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021. Okay, the budget procedure. Okay, so how does income tax years are always 1 year in advance. So when I use the word year of assessment, YA means year of assessment. So that means that the income tax form that you submit in 2021 November is for the year 2020, financial year 2020. The more accurate term is not financial year, it's called basis period or basis year, BY. But if I use that, I think all of you guys will get confused. So I use financial year. So basically anything spent this year, you spend this year, you will qualify for next year. Okay, so far so good. Perfect. Okay, so accelerated deturn. Now a few more things is a rental support. So any government properties, this is a very debatable thing. Any of y'all here on URA or HDB properties? Okay, then another. Okay, Minister Heng say you can talk to HDB and URA for many methods they have to help you defray rental costs. He never specified what. So I strongly recommend that you go and call HDB or URA and then next week let us know what they say. Because he included deferred payment, reduced payment, and a few other things he mentioned in the speech. But he never specified and he cannot be found on any Singapore government website. So if you have a chance to, please call them. Even if you have a lot of money now and you don't mind paying, might as well call and ask for a discount. Because it looks like they'll give you a discount. Okay? Applies only for HDB and URA managed property. Yes. Yeah, Government of Singapore, SLA, okay, that's land parcels, land sites already, right? Yeah, land sites. SLA will be very rare to see. Sorry? No, it's not tough. I'm just saying that I didn't put SLA because usually, SLA usually are land sites. Right? So your office must be on a land site. Yeah, yes, can. So call, just call them. They're supposed to do it. Yeah. I will give you his veteran code later, but yeah, he used the word flexible arrangement can be discussed with the relevant authorities and agencies, but he never say what. And all the 3 websites don't tell you what. So strongly recommend to call and let us know next week, see what they give you. Thanks. Okay, I also want to know. I'm not on any of the government sites, so I have no idea. Okay, that's one. Now, so generally speaking, open for negotiation for food services, basically NEA sites and HDB sites that are food services, for example, below the HDB block, right? That are rental or those industrial estate. Straight away is a half month or 1 month rental waiver. Straight away. Can you qualify for both? Probably they're going to do it because I think the food services are very affected. Okay, they're probably going to let you do a mixture of policies. But without any approval or needed, you already get 1 month waiver or half a month waiver if you're on such sites. But you must be zoned for food services. So if you're light industrial in Ang Mo Kio Tech Park, there's under HDB, you don't qualify for this. You don't qualify for this for food services and food manufacturers only. Okay, it's very specific. But for commercial property, they will give you 15% tax rebate. Okay, as you know, I'm opening a bar soon. I strongly recommend all of you, which I did, call the landlord and ask for discount pass down. Capital Land has already agreed to pass down the full 15% discount to all the tenants. If you are on a commercial property, I strongly recommend you guys to ask. It's very easy to calculate how much you save because property tax is public knowledge. You just go to IRA's website, open property tax page, put in the address, you will know how much his property tax is. Okay, very easy to calculate. That means he say 15%. Okay, so even he giamsiap boss doesn't want to share with you, you should also meet half point. Okay, it's like at least tell him 7.5% split half, right? Any savings is good savings in today's economic times. Okay, so strongly recommend you guys to do that. Yes. No, sorry. I need to specify the commercial will be in retail, food and services, and tourism. Yeah, not all commercial property. Food, service, and retail and tourism. Yes. I have no idea. You must go and look at RIAS property zone code, and then it will tell you whether it's under what. It doesn't matter what your business is. It matters what the original property is zoned for. And if you go to RIAS website or the URA website and you put in the postal code and unit, they will tell you which classification zone it is. So, no, also like in the sense that the website will tell you. But your SIA is government of Singapore, right? So this one doesn't apply to you, what? Yeah, because this is for landlords. Yes, the talk to them and ask for devotion. I'm sure they'll give to you, man. Yeah. Or come up some step, sorry lah. Government of Singapore need to preserve jobs, right? Just keep using word jobs. Yeah. Okay. Joking aside, yeah. The commercial, sorry, I'm going to clarify later. The commercial land is really for the industry most affected, tourism, food and services, and retail, not office estates. Okay. To see whether which zone are you classified, very simple. Go to IRAS or URA website, enter the postal code and the address, and you will be able to see the zone classification. If it's the correct, if it's like office, you cannot call your landlord, like your landlord is not going to get a discount. But if it's zoned as, say, retail, your landlord will get a discount, and I strongly recommend you to have a negotiation with your landlord to ask for a discount. Capital Land, once again, give out the full 15% downstream. If you can, that's the best. But if you cannot, you know what, even meeting halfway is good. Okay? But don't start with that position first. Okay? So far, so good? Now, the last one is tourism. Sorry, the second last one. I'll answer all the other questions later. Tourism sector. So, special budget scheme for tourism. I don't think any of you here are tourism except maybe your company will be considered. Probably will consider a tourism scheme if you're under. So companies that are in the tourism sectors, of course, as you say before, 20,000 job fall in tourists a day. Just imagine the package tour are all gone. You cannot imagine how many people go Singapore Flyer now. I think it's nearly empty or literally no one at all. So the tourism sector has special scheme. The government of Singapore is going to give ability to loan $1 million at 5% fixed interest rate. Right? This is a very, very targeted scheme. It's probably only for hotels and for tour agencies, because you can just imagine if you're a tour agent now, you're asking you left, right, center for refund, rescheduling is very, very bad. So once again, any of you or know people, is a special credit scheme. I would think that since it's a directed thing, this will be relatively easier to qualify for if you're in the industry, because the job, once again, tourism sector, although it's not a big GDP growth, hires a lot of jobs. There are many jobs available there inside the area. Okay, so for those of you who are into tourism scheme. Now, last but not least, this applies to all of you. I want to give you guys a clarity on all these things you hear about, like Skills Future, Work Singapore, PMAX, PCP, PCQA, DSTA. Okay, there are about 18 different schemes available for jobs reskilling. Okay, the government have very similar name: Adapt and Grow, Transform and Grow, Grow and Grow. Okay, literally these are the names of the schemes. Okay, I pull out for you the 4 most relevant. Now, if you are in the tourism, aviation, retail, and food services, ×2. Okay, any of these schemes used to support 3 months rental services coverage, right? But if you're in any of these 4 areas, you basically get 2 of the benefits. So the same employer in the past can only cover 3 months of salary support. If you're in this 4 industry itself, the government will cover up to 6 months of salary support, but only if you're in this 4 area. The rest of you who are not in this 4 area, don't worry, you still get 3 months of salary support in different areas. Now, this unfortunately is not a real cash measure. It's great to say that salary support, but you also need to spend money first. Okay, so this is not really like the job support scheme where I give you a check back. You need to spend money to help your workers improve. There are 4 things available: the PCP program, the professional conversion program, the career trial, the PMAX program, and the career support program. Honestly speaking, after a while, the name all sound the same. Okay, PSP literally sounds like Productivity Solution Grant. Okay, so I have an acronym sheet that I'll circulate to you guys later from the Singapore government. Okay, let's go through the first one first. What is the professional conversion program? There are 20 professional conversion programs available in Singapore, 20 to 26 lah. Okay, for example, what happens is this: the government will pay for 6 months of salary together with training for an employee. If the employee is above 40 years old of age, it must be a new employee. So look around. If you're thinking of hiring an employee above 40 years old, there's probably a PCP scheme available for you. You don't have to qualify for it. You just need to apply for it. So, example, you have a 42-year-old man who got laid off from, say, the tourism industry, for example, and he's a friendly face, and you want him to work as, say, a security guard or something else of this nature. The PCP scheme is there for you. The government will pay for training to convert the guy from whatever industry is from to become a security guard, for example. And then when he joins your company for 6 months, they'll cover 6 months of his salary for you, up to 70 to 90%, depending on industry. Okay, basically employee free for 6 months. Are there good PCP schemes that are relevant to you that are not security guard? Yes, it's called digital sales and digital marketing. Okay, so for example, you want to bring in a marketer that wants to help you create campaigns online. There's a PCP scheme for digital marketing that you can apply for. Okay, but the catch is that the guy must be above 40. The guy or the girl, the employee must be above 40 years old. Okay, that is the PCP scheme. So far, so good. Now, the PMAX scheme is a career transfer scheme, or what I call the place and train. It is very similar to the PCP scheme, just that the PCP scheme is geared towards lower level of skill set, while the PMAX scheme is geared towards professional skill set. So you are SME and you want to hire in a top-notch CFO, for example. The PMAX scheme is then there for you. It will help you cover the salary for up to 6 months to bring in a professional. There is really no ceiling cap on this. That means that the person can be $6,000, $7,000. This is where you bring the workers into the PMAX program. No, 70 to 90%, depending on condition and cases as well. Okay. There's also a period for older citizen. That one's higher. Yeah. Yes. Because it's for professional. I gotta tell you that the PMAX scheme is not easy to go through, because they are very strict on it. You cannot just say, hey, you know what I mean? They will review the CV, they'll review the job history. You cannot just pull a random guy from the street and say, nah, this is a working executive. You know what I mean? Like, the goal is not for you to hire your dad and tell you suddenly that, hey, my dad is not the CFO of my company. So it is a bit hard to qualify, but it is worth it because of the salary support mechanism involved in the PMAX scheme. Okay, if you were to look at it, the next other two that's not very important that I'll put for you is career trial. Okay, so if you're willing to hire above 40, the government will cover 1 to 3 for non-tourism industry or 6 months. So basically, retirees from the Air Force, you want to hire as a security guard at Certis Cisco, for example, they will all be under the career trial program. And this is why at all the security company, their bond is 3 months. Because the first 3 months essentially is free for them. Okay, you can do that on your own company as well. Okay, hard to qualify in the sense that you must do a lot of paperwork to justify the program, but once you do it, it's a continuous scheme. It's only relevant for companies that has a lot of steady workforce requirements. Okay, and last but not least, a career support program. Basically, it's just a nice way of saying that they have a help desk to help you. Okay, nothing much else there. But the most important three is the PCP program. To help you find people in digital marketing or what, you can go to the website, Google PCP now. All the 30 schemes are there. So basically, you adopt any of it, find the worker, and then training will be covered and salary will be covered. The second one will be PMAX, and then of course career trial if you choose to be. Yes. Yes. Sorry. All these schemes are Singaporean and Singaporean PR, but there are certain ones like PMAX that might even be limited to Singaporean only, depending on the sector. There are a lot of conditions. A lot of schemes that are not like the MRA grant, right, are what I call service support scheme, in the sense that when you want to apply for it, you call WSQ. WSQ will have a one-on-one conversation to build something for you. You get what I mean? It's not like here's a grant form, apply this way. All of this, because they are human in nature, they are all individualized basis. Yes. PMAX or which one? Okay. Really?
No, I think it depends because we are also looking for certain level of people.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's yes. The PCPs are usually administered by the trade association or non-profit organization. So you come to me at SG Tech, we have the Salesforce PCP. So we train one of your workers to be skilled in the CRM system, the digital marketing, and I think digital sales, I think. Yes, sorry.
Is that only for new employees?
No, cannot. The employee must be less than 6 months in the organization. So let's say as of today, you want to get a PCP for one of your employees who's in your company already, he must be less than 6 months. If more than 6 months, doesn't qualify already. Yes. So you cannot, because Abeng now become 40 years old, therefore, let me re-enroll him into this. It doesn't work that way, it doesn't work that way, yes. Sure.
So,
year. The government run by year. So 40 years of this year. So
even the birth month is
yes, it's by year basis. Yeah. Like for example, the Skills Future, the Merdeka package was by month, right? There was a cut-off time for Pioneer and Merdeka package, but for other packages, they usually go by year. So this one is by year. So as long as the employee turns by 1st January, like, you know what I mean, they call by the year lah. Okay. Question. Okay, so this is it for the first part. I got a few questions. I got a few questions from your colleagues here. Okay, so for DTDI, can trips organized by our own company be considered? The answer is yes, it can be considered. Okay, so let's say you were 6 of you organize a trip to go and study Vietnam together. It should be study Vietnam and internationalization. It should not be let's go there for R&R. Yeah, I stress again. The DTDI represents the IRAS can ask you to show pictures of what you did in Vietnam. Once again, I stress not you go there and go holiday. Okay, it's not meant for company retreat. It's not meant for anything else. It is for sure. Whichever is relevant to your business. Okay, yes, but yes, it can be considered. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Okay. Next question. For the work credit scheme, right? Unless the company has real intention to increase the wage, the cost will be added over the years due to the increase. It doesn't seem to help in business costs. Yes, that's true. As I said before, I do not know whether the WCS will be extended. It's been extended for 5 years. Every year, minister push the backline more and more. But yes, once you increase the worker's salary, you cannot next year, because no more work credit scheme, reduce lah. You know what I mean? It's not very nice, your workers, and I'm sure people will leave lah. So it doesn't really help business costs, but at least the goal of it was never to help business costs. The goal of it was to help bring up salary for Singaporeans, which is the two objective. The Singapore government is very, for the people, there's only two objectives, right? Number one, continue increasing salary. Number two, gainful employment. That really is how the society here is run. Okay, perfect. Let's go on. All good? Okay, let's go on to the second part of business transformation for the long term and the medium term itself. These are the new schemes announced by the government of Singapore and the old schemes that are pulled out for you for the medium and long term. So how does it play in the factor itself? It's not surprisingly, people think that we spend a lot of money on productivity, right? The good news is that minister actually used very less much of productivity. So productivity has been growing. So now it's not about productivity. Now it's transform. He used the word transform many times. So in the last 5 budget, it was productivity, productivity solution grant. Oh, we need to increase real productivity. This year is transform. Okay, transform the industry itself. What does transform mean? AI, deep tech. So is it a lot of money? Surprisingly, not a lot. $8.3 billion as a budget. It sounds like a lot, right? Okay, by the way, like the reason why why the government budget is $80 billion is that there are other costs. Running school costs money. Yeah, when minister announced budget, right, he announced the new stuff to help companies change, right? But the schools still continue being upgraded and being built, like SMU itself. Okay, so this is why it's $8 billion. $8 billion is not this year budget. It's a collective of the last 3 years of budget. The Singapore government put all this money away in each budget and lock it aside to the ministries. So the ministries have a long-term perspective to use money instead of a year-by-year basis. A lot of our schemes, as you realize, runs many, many years. And it's a very, very good hallmark of the Singapore system versus, say, American system whereby you don't know whether the grant will be extended or not. At least now you have certainty here itself. So $8.3 billion for the long term to help companies to transform and grow. Transform and grow is a key word. So 3 areas, once again, first thing first is to enhance leadership, ready for growth, and people and skill. These terminologies are mine. The government terminologies are all over the place, so I basically took all the different schemes and put it under 3 simple categories. Very easy to understand. Let's go through. First one is leadership. Okay, so 2 things they're going to do this year. This is the shortest slide. I cannot share more because of NDA, but here is what is announced. For those of you like Bob who came, the government of Singapore with Enterprise Singapore will be introducing a new scheme called the Enterprise Leadership for Transformation Program. This is going to be conducted by the Institute of Higher Learning. There's 3 parts. Part 1, you're going to be given training from industry experts. Part 2, you'll be given coaching, one-on-one business coaching along the way. Part 3, you'll be brought into an alumni network to support. Heavily subsidized. The goal is to train 900 companies to step up their leadership. So who is it targeted? It's targeted for fast-growing or companies ready for growth. It's not for new companies unless you have a proven revenue record. Your revenue base should be above $5 million to qualify for this program. It will be announced soon. Hopefully we'll start in August. Okay? Yeah, if you want to see more of me, I strongly recommend you guys to apply for the scheme by SMU. Thank you. And support my salary. But it is a very good program. Just imagine they're actually paying for consultants to your office to help you change and transform your business. So, no, it's for SMEs. Yeah, $100 million cap. Yeah, it's for SMEs. As MNC, they have this thing called a scale up program. Yeah. Okay? 5 and above. 5 million and above. It's no hard, fast, and fast rule, but the goal is about 5 million and above. Okay? There's no hard and fast rule. We will know when they put out the website out. Okay? Next one might be relevant for you, and I strongly recommend you guys now to join a trade association. It's a new executive in residence program. So basically, individuals who are very experienced in their field. Yes. For example, Microsoft CEO, for example, he's decided one day that I am now ready to retire and not do anything because I make enough already. But I still want to help the community. The government of Singapore, through the Trade Association, will hire the Microsoft managing director and then loan him out to SMEs for consultancy services. Okay? Once again, I repeat them. Very highly individual. Let's talk about food manufacturing. For example, the CEO of, say, Singapore Food Industry, SFI, the one that supplies all this food to us, right? They will hire him with Singapore Manufacturing Association, pay him a salary, and he will become a free consultant for any of the members' company in SMA itself. So this is one of the big benefits to join a trade association now. It's a good program, I hope. I think they have a list of who they are thinking of already, but it's at the top end of the scale itself. Executive in residence, basically free consultancy for members of trade association. This is all to enhance leadership at the top. So far, so good. Okay, now the next one is more important, is the ready for growth, which is basically grants. Okay, the government has 3 grants already, but they are going to enhance 3 of the grants right now. So let's go through it. First thing first is MRA. As I said before, MRA is very, very popular because it's very easy to apply, very easy to get approved. Okay, so to recap, MRA, as I shared before, is to help you enter a new market. But here's the qualification criteria. Singapore companies, revenue below 100 mil, and of course, less than 200 employees. Now, the 200 employees thing, as I said before, might not be a cap. Some of you are in very specific service industry that has a lot of people, but not their revenue base, okay? The most important requirement is to be a local company at 30% of the level itself. Okay, so what is MRA? MRA is to help you go abroad and internationalize. 8 out of 10 Singapore companies already have some form of international support. They can be selling away, they can be shipping things online, or they can be having overseas subsidies. The goal is for 100%, I guess. Okay, so what does it mean? The goal, as I said before, market promotion, potential partners, and overseas market. This is where it's new. Okay, very big new thing. First thing first, the government of Singapore is now, hold on. Okay, is now enhanced to $100,000. Okay, it used to be $20,000 twice a year. The cap is now removed. $100,000 for 3 years for one market. So let's say you are expanding to Ho Chi Minh and Jakarta. You will get $100,000 for Ho Chi Minh and you get $100,000 for Jakarta. Okay, they will probably change the application process to let you, I told you before last time, you have to select one of these 3 areas, right? They will probably change the application process so that you can do a multi-application process. Basically, the OMP grant, the Overseas Market Promotion grant, the $120,000 grant that I talked to you guys about, will probably be discontinued and folded into MRA. All right, so $100,000 that you can draw down over 3 years. It's a great enhancement to help companies, I feel. Okay, so now, and once again, also extended to 31st March 2023. You can use it for 3 areas: market entry, to go and do a consultancy service for you; business matching, finding you business partner; and overseas market promotion, running ad campaign there. Just imagine if now you have $100,000 to spend in a new overseas market compared to $20,000 last time. Tremendous amount. But of course, to spend $100,000 means you need to have $124,000 because it is reimbursement basis and capped at 70%. Okay. They will also now let you do a few new things, including hiring consultant in market. Things like consultant to help you advise on taxation, consultant to help you advise on legal work, consultant to help you advise on FDA regulations and requirements itself. So basically, this level will increase. When will we know more in detail? We will probably know more detail at Committee of Supplies, which will happen in 2 weeks' time. Okay, so if you guys are not applying MRA now, the current MRA website on businessgrant.gov.sg is still at $20,000. Now, if you're kiasu, I'll say apply now so that they don't change too much things. Okay, but if you have not time to finish it, then don't apply now and then apply 2 weeks later. You get what I mean, right? The current businessgrant.gov.sg, if you were to apply now, you are still grandfathered to the $20,000 scheme. So if you're smart, you'll say, hey, since there are 2 different schemes, you apply now and then you get another $100,000 later. Okay? Yeah. When will they change? When Committee of Supplies announced. No, we don't know how it will play out. But I'm saying if you apply now, if you don't want any of this thing to change, by the way, they can just strike off one thing. You never know. So you don't want any of this to change now. You better go apply now. Okay. You know what I mean? Very safe. You apply now, this will not change because the current website still shows you this tree. When Committee of Supplies is announced and everything is rolled out, they'll change, the website might change and then the item might change itself. So if I was you, I'll just apply now and let's say it changed and it's more beneficial, I will revoke my original one and then reapply again. Okay, you get what I mean? Yes. Yeah. Okay lah. I do not think a law firm will charge you $100,000 lah. Okay. If Harry Elias there charge you $100,000 to set up a company, you really should go complain to Commission of Competition already lah. Yes. 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 No, never. It doesn't have to be. But if the quotation is in Vietnamese or in Indonesian, it must be translated to Singapore English. Sorry, I was going to say Singapore English. Sorry, English. Sorry. Yes. Okay. There will be more categories for sure. Okay. Whether they will revoke categories, I have no idea. Honestly speaking, it is very skimpy. And even though you know, I mean, I was on consultation panel for one of this, right? I actually didn't hear of this at all. So yeah, I didn't expect them to extend this. So it must be very popular. Okay. Okay, now is the Productivity and Solution Grant or the PSG grant. The PSG grant is to help you digitalize. So very good. The government has the grant to help you go abroad, the grant to help you digitalize, and the grant to help you productivize out yourself. So everything got grants. Okay. So what is to digitalize? Digitalize means to adopt software. So these are pre-approved software such as point of system sales, accounting software. Now they are going to introduce the SME. So I want to clarify a few terms. What is SME Go Digital that you guys always hear about? SME Go Digital is not the grant name. SME Go Digital is the roadmap for each of your industry. There are 23 industries in Singapore, or what I call sectors. Industry is not a correct academic term. A sector is food and beverage, hotel sector, tourism sector, for example, as a bigger whole, technology sectors. There are 23 roadmaps, or what I call the Go Digital Plan. Inside this Go Digital Plan, is a 50-page document to how to go more productive and go digital. That is what I call SME Go Digital. Within the Go Digital Plan, there are grants to help you access this solution. One of them is called the Productivity and Solution Grants. Okay, so for example, if you go to Google the hotel industry SME Go Digital Roadmap, you will see that one section is called Robotics in Housekeeping. Those automatic robots to clean the floor lah. And then they will be covered under the PSG grant. Okay, this is how the terminology works for the different sectors. So every industry has Go Digital, and then Productive Solution Grant is to buy the software. Now, they are doing a few things first. First thing first, they're going to introduce the PSG grant for what I call starting up. So you're a new company, they're going to give you 5 free software in 5 key categories. First thing first, they're going to give you 1 free software in accounting, 1 free software in probably POS, 1 free software in cybersecurity, 1 free software in email marketing, and 1 free software in inventory management. And HR, Telenox also. I'll open up the list later for you. It's quite interesting. Sorry, I should have taken the list. It's quite interesting. How is it administered? It's administered by your banks or your telco. Why? Because if you open a new business, the first thing you need is a bank account. So you go to OCBC and open a bank account, they will give you, here's a list of software that they'll give you for free. Okay, as part of the Kickstart package. The package is already announced already. I'll open for you the Excel sheet. I'll open for you the Excel sheet later. It's not a dim sum menu. You cannot pick and match. Yeah. Because somebody actually asked me that. So each of the banks have different partners. So HR software, Payboy and Telenox. They are 2 of my friends. Yeah. Let's say you like Telenox, right? You go to the bank that has Telenox because they have different partners for different things. So it's not like, oh, I can pick A and then pick B then pick C, then pick D. So no, it's one fixed size package, okay? It's a quite interesting package. But 5 areas, they'll give you free software for the 5 areas, all under PSG. Now, maybe. 12 months. 12 months coverage. For SaaS software, 12 months. Yeah, all of them are SaaS software, software as a service, so it's probably 12 months. Yeah, none of them are, they no longer sell MYOB desktop version already. Now it's a MYOB online, so they're not going to give you the desktop version because that counteracts their Go Digital plan. Now, but there are, then after this Kickstart package, there are other PSG packages. For example, point of sale system, food ordering system for food business. There are many of them. For those of you who are doing delivery, fleet management system, they are capped at $10,000 per company and 70% coverage. They are not like ICV, it's not free. You have to pay out of pocket. So certain PSG, like the SME Go Digital PSG, Kickstart is free. Some of them are not free, depending on which package you are. But basically heavily subsidized. No. PSG is for everyone. The Kickstart package is for new business, less than 6 months old. But this one, the general one, is for everyone.
The person who actually started a company need to be a first time.
No, don't need. Why not just open it? Sorry? Yeah, it's a SaaS software. No one stops you from using anywhere in the world. Software as a service. No one stops you from using anywhere in the world. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes. You can use the MRA. What got 3? This one, and then PSG. Which one? No, Startup SG Founders Grant. That is really for technology company lah. It doesn't really apply to you lah. Your particular business will not work that well. Yeah, they probably not approve it for startup. You're not supposed to bring it out of Singapore lah. But yeah, I cannot comment on that lah. I would not think that you're supposed to bring it out of Singapore lah.
But if let's say based on PIC policy, actually overseas assets okay.
Belong to the company, to earn money, right?
But actually, a lot of people miss out on the PIC for overseas assets. Actually, it's actually qualified. Yeah.
Okay, that one really is I won't say it's grey. I don't even know whether it's grey or black lah. But you know what I mean. I would think that you buy a POS system here, like let's say you buy a food ordering system, it might not work in Vietnam, right? That's my personal take lah. Because sure, if there are a lot of vendors available, I would think it's possible. Yeah. Okay. So far so good. A few more slides, we're going to take a first break. Then the EDG grant. Now, the Enterprise Development Grant is the big grant that is no cap. So good news is that it's extended to 31st March 2023, and Minister has signaled that they'll be more willing to fund projects. What does Enterprise Development Grant cover? 3 things: core capability, innovation, and market access. Market access, I went through you all in this class already. That is the OMP part, overseas market presence part. Okay, whereby they cover you to pay salaries of business development people in the overseas market. Okay, I covered that already. No change in that. Now, core capability and innovation and productivity. That's the section that people tend to forget. Core capability. For example, you are ready to go franchise. You are a MNC, you are a Singapore food business, say soup kitchen or something, or soup restaurant, and you're ready to go franchising rights itself. This is where core capability. You need to build capability in finance and in franchising management. They will pay 70% of the cost to hire a consultant to do that for you. That's one. What is innovation and productivity? Now, this is a very tricky area. Startups always say that their solution is innovative. The goal is not, the EDG grant is not meant for startups. Okay, it is not meant for startups to use government money to co-fund your innovation. That is the job of the venture market. You know what I mean? Let's say you are building a new travel booking website that you think is very innovative. That is not meant for the EDG grant. When they say innovative, imagine a fishery company that is interested in having IoT to count number of fishes die per minute. That is what I call innovation. It is not for you to build a new business model. It's your existing business model to enhance the productivity and find new solution for it. Okay? So if you are trying, grant consultant always say, hey, let me help you pitch a new startup idea to think who to get funding, you'll probably not get approved. Okay? So I want to clarify about innovation. Yes. Questions? Yes. There's no cap. Oh, so sorry. Okay, my bad. Sorry, there's no cap. The 70%, there's a cap of 70%, but there is no financing cap. It can be multi-million dollars. Like EDG grants there are EDG grants that are in multi-millions. Yeah.
In terms of EDG
No. EDG and ESG, EDG and PSG are completely different. Once again, PSG is already a list of vendors. You cannot select the vendors. Like you can, let's say, marketing software, HubSpot. HubSpot is not a PSG. MailChimp is. You cannot just say, I want to use HubSpot, therefore I can get the grant. No, the PSG, there's a list, and the list is fixed. There are a lot of people on the list, by the way, but it's fixed. You cannot, the list doesn't, you cannot add a new vendor yourself. The vendors are already pre-approved. The EDG, if you want to build a whole marketing software to talk about expanding your business in the 21st century under the productivity side, and you want to use HubSpot, yes, you can, but you must put through a whole proposal. I would say that PSG are for SMEs that are trying to build up to $1 million in revenue. EDG grant, if you don't have $1 million in revenue, you probably will not get funded at all. Okay? Yeah, EDG grants are not easy to qualify for. Yes. CDG. Yes. No, they changed the restructuring since moving on CDG to EDG. Last time under the CD capability development grant, there were 8 sectoral areas, right? They have streamlined to 3, and there's no more that restriction has replied. You can do multiple applications. It's simplification. Of course, overseas market access is multiple use, as I said before. So you will use it for one time, say Philippines, one time in Vietnam, one time in Indonesia. You can use it multiple times. Yeah. Yes. 70%. Didn't we cover that in module in class 3? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I show you in your course booklet. You have it, what? Yeah, it is. Okay, in the course booklet, look at the annex for module 3. Yes, it is real. My own company has received back the full amount 30 days after the year ended. Yes, we tar for 1 year, but 30 days after the year ended, after you submit everything, money is back in our bank. Yeah, it's a real. Once you approve it, it's real. It is a very good scheme. I mean grant scheme. Okay, so far so good. Now I have a question here which I'll answer first. Where's my question? Does the MRA covers material cost, sample, and discount? Honestly speaking, no idea as of now. No idea as of now. Wait for COS. Okay, yeah, MRA is very, very unsketchy. So you guys know what is Committee of Supplies, right? The government of Singapore budget runs this way, just a quick heads up. So before 31st March, the Minister of Finance must present his budget to Parliament to approve. Whatever you hear from Minister, that little 3-book speech that he announced last Tuesday, that is the budget for the year. Okay, that is what I call the allocation budget. The budget basically say that this is, okay, when his speech is what I call the key highlights. But in the actual documentation, it will say Ministry of Education, $15 billion. Ministry of Defense, $12 billion, for example. Then what happens is that next week, right, there'll be 2 days of Parliament debate on the budget. You don't debate the individual item. You debate the whole $83 billion. You debate whether we should proceed with having a deficit, not deficit. You debate whether MOE should be receiving more money or less money, but you don't debate the specific programs. So once that is passed, the 2 days of debate is passed, the budget is passed. Therefore, the government knows what they are spending off for the year, the 1st April. Okay, so that's called a Budget Act, the Budget 2020 Act. Now, then the week after is then the individual ministry debate. So Ministry of Education receives, say, $15 billion, right? That's a lot of money, right? They must be accountable to you and me, which are taxpayer. So then they will start the individual debate on each ministry, and that's called the Committee of Supplies, the committee member being all Parliament. Then each committee, so you cannot move the amount already. Ministry of Education has $15 billion. You cannot say, tomorrow let me find another $1 more billion. The $15 billion is fixed. What is not fixed is how the money is then being used. Now, this is Singapore government, because it's practically a one-party rule system. We don't really have a lot of fiery debates versus, say, the Hong Kong government or the US government. So the US government, people do earmarking up and down, right? But in the Singapore government, more or less, you should know that the Committee of Supplies goes through very, very efficiently, and it's more like each minister announcing each of the items they have in details. And then the committee member will say, okay, I'm not happy with this, I'm happy with this, and then they'll pass it. So that's how the government budget is formed. First, the Budget Act, then 2 weeks of Committee of Supplies by each of the ministry itself. Yeah, good context? Yes. I know all this, don't ask me. I really read too much, man. Okay, last part of my speech before we can take a last part break. Let's go through the peoples and skills section. Okay, three things. Of course, Skills Future. So I want to clarify. So a lot of people are confused between Workforce Singapore (WSG) and Skills Future. Okay, so you are in a Skills Future class. Skills in the past, Workforce Singapore and Skills Future all under the same ministry, Ministry of Manpower. Then they split into two parts. Workforce Singapore is under Ministry of Manpower, Skills Future under Ministry of Education. Okay, the two set boards split up. Okay, why? Other reasons that powers will be known to us. Workforce Singapore job is to help people continue retaining their jobs and retraining for the future. Skills Future job is to teach everyone more skills. Okay, now Skills Future job, but all the money comes from Skills Future. Workforce Singapore money, the budget is very relatively limited. Skills Future is the one with the budget. Okay, so you are in a Skills Future class. There are a lot of vendors out there that can sell you Skills Future courses. Okay, the difference is, so your $500 credit, you go to skillsfuture.gov.sg, you can search for any class you want, right? You can even learn barista making classes. Now, why does it cost more than SMU, for example? It's because they are not a Skills Future institution. All the Institute of Higher Learning, the universities are the Skills Future one. So let's say tomorrow 3 of us open a new consultancy called Ivan Chang Tax Accountancy Practices with Bob, right? We can send ourselves for Skills Future qualification. Just that our cost fee, let's say 1,600, you will still pay 1,600. Individually, you guys can use a $500 credit to pay for it, but you still pay 1,600. There's no discount. Why is the SME cost so much cheaper? Because we are Skills Future certified school. Therefore, our courses, even before taking your own personal 500, is already 70 or 90% subsidized. Okay, this is for the IHL. And this is why when you think of a Skills Future training program, the difference between going to SMU, for example, once again, even though I think we're the best, or going to an external vendor like learning a barista skill. Okay, so this is why. Then the 10% that you pay or the 30% you pay to SMU can further be used with your Skills Future credit. Okay, understand now already? This is why there's so many different Skills Future names out there. Okay, so the reason why SMU one is so much cheaper is because the government give us a special grant because we are Institute of Higher Learning versus so vis-a-vis, let's say you're talking about marketing costs, we have SEO marketing costs, right? You'll realize that our SEO marketing cost is much cheaper. Even our list price is much more expensive than our external vendors. But when your actual pay is much lower because the 90% part is already covered under a Skills Future IHL scheme. Okay, so that is Skills Future. Workforce Singapore job is the PMAX scheme, the PCP scheme. But when it comes to the training component, it also draws on the Skills Future funding. Okay, so left pocket, right pocket. Yes, very confusing. Okay, yes. So now let's talk about Skills Future for, yes, question? Yeah, okay. Okay, let's talk about what's happening for you guys. For you guys, your $500 is getting a top up. Any of y'all above between 40 to 60 this year, you'll get $1,000. And those of you who are not, all the rest of us who are below 40, above 60, you'll get $500. Okay, so if you have not used a Skills Future yet, if you get $1,000 plus your $500, $1,500, you literally can go for one of our internationalization program for free. I'll ask our program to Israel is 1,004, resuming in August. Just nice, everything covered, no out of pocket, very good value. Okay, go there, learn digitalization and innovation in Israel. Highly recommend. Okay, all right. So that's for you guys. Now, companies. The government of Singapore will be introducing a new Skills Future. It's called Skills Future for corporations. Every company will get up to, they use up to because I think there's qualification, but majority of SME will get $10,000 per company. Okay, just imagine your Skills Future bank, same thing, you'll get a bank for your companies itself. So companies can use it to pay us. So let's say you go for a Skills Future approved class, that's $5 for the company employee. Right now, your companies are paying 30% out of pocket. That 30% out of pocket that your company are paying for you, on 10% out of pocket, depending on the situation, can now be drawn down from the $10,000 already. So essentially, more free stuff. So if you are a Tauke, that means you can send 6 of your colleagues for free to Israel. Very good value. Should all come together. And then take the, but you cannot claim DTDI again, please, because no more out of pocket. Do not claim DTDI on this. Thanks. Okay. Likely. We hope so. As long as Skills Future, but more detail will be announced soon. But hopefully, cross finger. Yes. So very good value. Okay. Yeah. Year 2. That's why I say other sectors affected, but training providers seem to be a a great year for us. So let's hope this continues on for us. Not NCOV, but more people upgrading. Hey, only 500,000 Singaporeans has used the Skills Future. I know it sounds a lot, right? But that means that 2.5 million Singaporeans have not used the Skills Future at all. So a lot of training to be done for the market. Okay. Yes. Sorry, can you louder a bit? Sorry. Yeah. Zero. It's completely new. None of you have it. Yeah. None. Zero. No, as long as your staff. Yeah. You. Oh, that's a very good question. But whatever you qualify now probably will have the same application process. Yes. So as of right now, the 90% that you pay as for company coming in, right, is probably the same. So yes, they probably will let you do it. Yeah, for below 25. Probably. Once again, these are very intricate policy details that we must see MOE exit guidelines later when we come out with. Yes. Skills Future is actually for Singapore. Yeah, Singaporeans only. Yes. I think PR don't get it right. Sorry, I'm actually not too sure of it. If I'm not wrong, Skills Future is for natural Singaporeans only. I'll check for you on that. Yeah. Okay. Coming to SMU, when you come and study, the 90% support is for Singapore and Singaporean PR. But the $500 credit that you get in your bank account is only for Singaporeans, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so so good. Okay, so time to do more training. Yeah. No idea. Okay. The biggest question is this lah. What can you stack the things, right? So the question is, I have no idea. Okay. The idea state is, for example, SME cost is $10,000. Already you paid $1,000 only, right? Because 90% already paid by SSG already. Skills Future Singapore. Then let's say you're saying from company, so you pay $1,000, right? So this $1,000, right? Does it mean that the company can use them to draw down? That's the idea that we have right now. But we'll wait for MOE to clarify on that detail because it's very murky. Okay. All right, last but not least, this is my last thing for you guys. Two more things for you, two of this up, is the Global Ready Talent Program. They have fleshed out finally more details. This is the one where I talked to you guys about sending interns and very young staff. So they have the scheme for the above 40, they have the scheme for the older people above 60, above 55 retirement age. There's also a scheme for new fresh blood to come into the industry. Okay, these are graduates or fresh grad or interns. Two parts. The Global Ready Talent Program is one part for interns, one part for fresh hire, associates as we call it. Let's talk about the intern one first. The government of Singapore will then cover you to pay 70% of the salary of the intern to send the intern abroad for 6 months. Example, you want to open Indonesia, right, or Vietnam, and you want to hire SMU interns to base in Vietnam to help you build market there because they're young, they're fresh, and they're willing to live in the conditions, right? For example, their salary is $1,000. That's the intern salary. The government only needs to pay $300 only. The 70% of it will be paid for by the Singapore government. A lot of people don't use this. I don't want you to ask me to link up. I'm so sorry, I have not linked up yet. But this is a great one to get intern. And it doesn't have to be 6 months overseas. It can be 2 months in Singapore or 4 months in Singapore and 2 months in overseas. There is no hard and fast rule. The goal is that the person should live overseas for a while. But it can also be used to be stationed in Singapore first before transferring the person overseas. Yes, I know what you're thinking about. Yes, this is, a lot of companies use this in SME, okay? So think of it this way, okay? All understand this scheme? Yeah. Okay, how do you apply for this scheme? Very simple. Each of the universities and the poly have an internship office. They are the one administering this. They will be the one giving you students to recommend, and they'll be the one, you don't go and find your own students. The students will be, you go and find a random person and say, I will put you on this scheme. This scheme is administered by the universities and the polytechnics themselves. Go to the career office, say that I want to take part in your scheme. Every of them call it differently. NUS call it NUS Overseas College. SMU call it the GRA or Global Innovation Alliance. We all have a different names for this program, but they are all under the Global Ready Talent Program. Same grant, same scheme. Okay? Just that we have different. I don't know what SMU call it. We call it what? G something, right? Okay, that one's career office. We have a scheme on this lah. So just go and find your individual scheme. Very good. Once again, covers internship salary. Now, then what if you're trying to hire a new graduate coming in? Same thing. If you're this is on top of the MRA grant or the EDG grant for overseas market deployment of people. But the thing is, it must be a management associate. What defines a management associate? That means you must have a structured training program to up his skill over time. Okay, that's really the question. And of course, with your younger staff lah. So the government will cover 70% of income for 13 months. Okay, including AWS and his allowance, his flight, and his airfare, and his pre-trip administrative costs. 70% of the cost to send someone to your overseas office will be covered by the Singapore government. It is amazing. Once again, administered by the respective university office. The goal is for fresh graduate to straight away be immersed overseas. Not for you to go and find somebody 3 years in the work already and then say, yeah, let me send you abroad. It's for you to find fresh graduate. The university must be the one administering. Some universities will let you do alumni. For example, I graduate 2 years SMU, and then now I'm ready to take a career switch. I want to go and help a SME like Brad Talk Group go overseas. The university will, because they're alumni, the university will help administer it, so it's okay still. It depends on the university that you go for. I know it's irritating because there's no central office, so rule of thumb, just choose SMU is better. Thanks. No, it must be IHLs. The culinary school are not considered Institute of Higher Learning. Sorry, the IHLs are very specific. The 5 public universities and the 6 polytechnics, they are very, very specific. Yeah, yes. No, the regular, same department. Just ask, so in that department, the career office, they have 2 teams for, just ask your, but they're running it to account manager style now. So whoever helps you on that will also talk to you about this already. Yeah, so you can ask them on the Global Talent Ready program. So once again, interns and then associates. So far, so good. Questions? Yes. Sorry, cannot hear. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, there's no such thing, your own personal training material for SkillsFuture, right? There are 2 types of approval. One is Workforce Singapore accreditation approval, and one for SkillsFuture. So it really depends. If it's the Workforce, accreditation is very, very broad stroke lah. The Workforce Singapore accreditation process talks about the skills framework, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, L8. They have this little set of things. The goal is about reskilling. To get that is really relevant skills for workplace straight away. For SkillsFuture, it's a separate thing altogether. But of course, in the past, SkillsFuture used to be generalized skills. You can have photography class tomorrow if you want, as long as they approve it. So you must submit an application form to SkillsFuture. But Minister Heng Swee Keat has announced that all courses, including WSG and SkillsFuture, is supposed now to gear towards improving the economy, meaning workforce development, reskilling, and re-upgrading. So I would think that if your course is not, say, work related, they have a longer period of approval now. They're trying to reduce those, let's go photography class, let's go for stamp collection class. Happened before, okay. The funniest class is the stamp collector class. They tell you about stamp valuation. Very fun. SkillsFuture Singapore. Go to the website. The grant page, the application form is actually on the website. It's actually a form. Then they will meet you and then they will assess you. They will ask you for course notes, course objective, and every single thing else that they need for approval. Yeah. The SME talent program is misnomer. It's renamed to the Global Talent Ready program. So the SME talent program is administered by Workforce Singapore and MOM to bring employees into the SME itself. This is to bring people overseas. So the one is SME talent is administered by WSG. This is administered by ESG. Yes. Therefore, should join Enterprise Leadership Transformation for Growth, the first one I'm talking about, because SME will be setting up a new office just to help you navigate all of these weird government agencies. Yeah. It's really a miracle I remember all these names. Okay, questions so far? Our second part. Last part today. I got so many Q&As. So, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me just go through a few questions first. Question number 1, rental negotiation or rent earlier. Does this apply to JTC? Yes, JTC applies because it's government as well. So those of you who flag back JTC, please ask them. Technically speaking, JTC is now a stat board that's privatized, but I would think that since Minister talk about JTC so frequently, I would say yes, you should ask. No harm asking your landlord regardless of any situation. GRT, is there a minimum overseas period? No. Okay, just now the graduate ready program. For internship, there is no, I told you internship, they cover up to 6 months, right? Can it be 1 month overseas, 5 months in Singapore? Yes, it can. There is really no restriction on it. But obviously, the Institute of Higher Learning, SMU, for example, will insist on as long overseas as possible because that's the nature of the program. We don't want you to bring one person and then purposely put them in Singapore and then do nothing. You know what I mean? Our goal is for you to bring them abroad. So although there is no hard and fast rule, the IHL do have a restriction. Okay, good. For associate, no OMP applies. Okay, so overseas market, this one for associate, whether is there a restriction on thing, the same thing is that the goal is, the crux of this is that the person should be based abroad. It's not for you to hire a sales associate based in Singapore and fly to the region. The goal is for the person to live and immerse in ASEAN. Okay, so it is not meant for you to stay abroad. So same as OMP, I talked to you guys about in module 3. That means that yes, the guy can fly back every 2 weeks, but the goal is that the bulk of his time should be spent overseas. Okay, so far so good. So the global talent program undergrads are all Singaporeans. Yes, must be Singaporean. The global ready talent program must be Singaporean. You cannot hire an international student as your global ready talent program. Sorry, let me clarify. Obviously, you want to hire an Indonesian national that's studying in Singapore to be sent to your Indonesian office to do internship. No one stops you, but the government will not go subsidize for you 70%. It must be a Singaporean student. Okay? A Singaporean and Singaporean PR. Majority of the time Singaporean and Singaporean PR, unless specified otherwise. Sales future is the only few where it's Singaporean citizen. Okay? Show data. Oh, I love this Q&A, man. Love my Zoom. Okay, last but not least, I just have one more slide before I know you can take a break. So a few more things is this, the government announced, but I cannot really fit in anywhere. Once again, no cash transfer for you, sorry, but few things. First thing first, the Go Business Portal. So useful. Let me tell you a joke, okay? So, you know, I'm opening a bar. I got entertainment license from police. So police give me an entertainment license so, you know, to apply for license is police, right? But you must take the police license and go back to URA to change the zoning, right? So that's very complicated already. But let me tell you, the police license say that I'm legally allowed to play music. So I went back to URA and said, I'm installing 2 speakers. And then the URA told me, oh, you need a special permission to install speakers. So I asked the URA woman, you leave me how to play music, right? No speakers how to play music. And she say, oh, but they're separate grants. They're separate licensing team. I kid you not, I cannot believe to open a bar in Singapore to play music, I need a police license to play music, and I need another license to install a speaker in my bar. Okay, it is really, really hilarious. Okay, the URA woman literally told me there are other ways of transmitting music and sound. I asked her how, you know, I'm clapping my hand and said, my goodness. I sent you all guys a screenshot. It's really amazing. They literally told me there are other methods of transmitting sound. And I asked her what this method is. So, good news for you, they're going to consolidate everything under the Go Business Portal. This is already done for the food manufacturers already. You need to get HCAAC license, ISO certification, and all the other things, right? To get your food license up, they already consolidated all the entire legal process. Basically, they look at industry and say, what are the license you need, and lump them together in one page for you. So Go Business Portal, hopefully launched by June for all other sectors or progressive rollout, will help all you guys in licensing with the Singapore government. Number 2, the Senior Worker Employment Credit. Now, there are many, many parts of this. The goal is to make sure that you keep your older workers all the way to retirement age and or hire workers above 55 years of age. The government will give you a special grant to pay for workers if you are bringing them in after 55. The government will also co-pay their salary for up to 12 months. Now, the exact details are in the scheme, but they are relatively complicated unless you really need, talk to me later. Capability and transfer scheme. Hiring, this is under WSG, hiring of consultant to help you upskill your internal workforce before leaving, up to now 6 months. So for example, if you're not happy with, say, your manufacturing process, you can hire a group of manufacturing experts to come in to help you first. And for 6 months, they'll pay this manufacturing expert, but they must leave. They are not, okay, whether you make them as your full-time employee, that's another issue altogether. But the goal is for them to come in and do the next company next. All right, this is administered by Workforce Singapore. Okay, and last but not least, the Startup SG Equity Grant is enhanced. If you never heard of it before, it doesn't apply to you, but basically they'll give more money to Singapore startups. One more other thing maybe that is relevant for you is that happy to note that Productivity Solution Grant, the one just now, I forgot to mention, I'm so sorry. The PSG grant will also now cover consultancy services. Remember last time ICV days, it's a voucher, they cover consultancy. Happy to say now that PSG will also have a new category for consultancy. So it doesn't just have to be buying software already. You can actually buy consultancy time at a very low price value or at a fixed price value. More details will be announced soon. Okay? Questions? Okay, to recap to recap the budget for you guys, especially talking about internationalization. Quick recap again. First thing first, you guys are going to get a great help. First thing first, you're going to get great help for just your first thing first, your stabilization. You're going to get help for terms of your cash grant for your works thing. I strongly recommend you guys to talk about your rental income with your things, with your landlord. You're going to get a loan quantum increment that's going to help you guys as well. The stabilization package is 4 parts. Most importantly, is giving you guys the access to additional income to support at this point in time. Now, continue focusing on the transformation and growth. The skills future is the biggest avenue for you guys to train your employees up. But more importantly, for your internal development to build your productivity and capability, the goal is to get more EDG grant and help you get expansion. I cannot stress enough on the expansion. The expansion part is going to be a very big push by the Singapore government. And then last but not least, in terms of other special measures to help people and talent, of course, they're going to enhance the internship pay, the associate thing, and of course, helping you get access to the government better. All right, this is this year's budget. Questions? I got one question here. Can we apply for the various grants together or is it one only? Yes, all these grants, except for the Workforce Singapore grants, WSG, and the one that PMAX, right, are all on businessgrant.gov.sg. You can apply for multiple of them at one go. Only the Workforce Singapore, the PMAX PCP is handled by Workforce Singapore. Because once again, as I said before, all the Workforce Singapore grants are basically customized to your needs, like product, place and train. So they are all consultative nature. If you really are thinking about how to up your own internal workforce, I strongly recommend you guys to drop an email to Workforce Singapore and they will give it out. And I always give you guys that you all got the fortune cookie from them. Remember? Yeah, that's from them. Yes, transform and grow. See, told you this, same name. Other questions? Huh? 22, I think is at, okay, the address, you know, Circular Road near Boat Quay. So Circular Road next to TCC and Boomerang, opening on 1st April. Hopefully renovation comes in time. Please support, granted, yeah. Sorry? Proust, P-R-O-S-T, Proust. Proust. It's Dutch for cheers. Yes. Will I apply for grants? Yes, I'll show you guys later how. Sure. Other question, guys? I know we can take a quick break. Attendees, any questions? Okay, thank you guys. I will see you back for strategy and business case study at 11:30. I'm happy to have a question. I hope it was useful. Was it useful?